we present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, a panel game, and your chairman tonight, Humphrey Lyttelton.
Hello. Well, this is the last program in this series. So those of you who aren't asleep will be on tenterhooks. I'm going to tell you that the two teams this time are Joe Kendall and Graeme Garden. Tim Brooke-Taylor and John Cleese. And in this first round, I'm going to ask each team to sing the words of one song to the tune of another, starting with Joe and Graeme. Will you sing the words of Yellow Submarine to the tune of I Was Born Under a Wandering Star? For the benefit of listeners at home, Joe Kendall was singing the lower part there. 2 marks for that, I think. I don't know why. Tim and John, I want you to sing the words of Things Ain't What They Used to Be to the tune of Oh Mine Papa.
They've changed a little valley into a bowling alley, and things ain't what they used to be. There's Ted with rain-tight trousers and Debs in coffee houses, and things ain't what they used to be. It used to be fun and old mum paddling down South End, but now it ain't done. Never mind, John, Paris is where we spend our outings. Grandma tried to rock and roll, laughing ain't what they used to be. I did all stop it. Ain't what they used to be. For things ain't what they used to be.
Can't help feeling sorry for Lionel Barr. First bankruptcy and then this. Give it 1 mark for interpretation there. This is where I give the team some time to think up names for the late arrivals at the Geographical Society Ball. At the very end of the program, they're going to be asked to announce these late arrivals, and that's the ball that you have to announce them for, the Geographical Society Ball. Right. On now to a thing which is called, a round which is called Daffy Definitions. In this round, I shall give each player a word which they may or may not know, and ask them to define it. If their definition is anywhere near the correct one, I shall be very surprised. Tim Brooke-Taylor, yours is the first word.
Oh, is it?
And it is Gaius Cutus.
Gaius Cutus?
Gaius Cutus.
A Gaius Cutus is a left-handed toothbrush used by a little-known African tribe, so little known that not even I've heard of. One thing that is known about this tribe, in fact, is that they have these left-handed toothbrushes for the teeth that they wear around their left hand to catch it from their enemy. That is known. That's the only thing.
Well, that's extremely doubtful, but it's better known than any other fact.
That's probably true. That's all we've got to work on, anyway.
Well, I'll give you 1 mark for that.
Thank you.
Because it is, in fact, a mythical four-legged beast with legs on one side, longer than on the other, to enable it to walk round the sides of steep hills.
That is... That's another theory, but I don't...
Gaia Scutus. Joe, yours is the next word, and it's colt pixie.
Oh, that's easy. There are pixies in Scotland. And when it snows, they pop out of their heather-lined burrows and say, "Oh, it's cold." Hence their names.
It is fairly close to it. A colt pixie is a mischievous hobgoblin supposed to appear as a colt and mislead men into bogs. And as a lady, you wouldn't, of course, know about that sort of thing.
No, I wouldn't. True.
We'll have to give you a consolation mark. Now then, who's this? Graeme. I want you to define a fern tickle.
Well, this comes from Old Middle English. In fact, just to the left of Middle English. Tickle, as we know, is the approximation of the digits to a susceptible portion of the anatomy and the pleasurable or otherwise sensation produced by their motion. Fern, it's true.
He's a doctor.
Fern, he's a doctor.
He is a doctor.
He is a doctor. Fern comes from the Scandinavian, higher Scandinavian, well, halfway up Scandinavian, and fern, the same root that we get the word fun. So a fern tickle is an enjoyable tickle.
You're going to have a couple of marks there because you're exactly halfway to the right answer. If you take a mean point between mid-England and Scandinavia, you actually come to Scotland, which is where this word comes from, and it's Scottish for a freckle. And I should say, since a look of disbelief has come over Graham's face, I should say that all these definitions are from Webster's dictionary.
Dictionary.
Be careful, you might have to sing that later. And therefore these are all proper words, or as proper words as ever get into Webster's dictionary.
Well, it all depends on...
John Cleese, your word is...
Mr. Webster. I mean, who has ever met Mr. Webster? I mean, maybe a practical joker on the most immense scale. Here we are, accepting his bona fides without any evidence.
John, wipe your eyes and listen to this word. This is your word. Almoravid.
Oh, yes, well, I know what this is. Yes, I do, actually, because I was in Morocco 4 months ago, and it's the second recognised dynasty of Moroccan kings coming between the Almohads and the Sardians.
Or not.
You might get a mark if you tell me where they live.
Two-story, 2 up, 2 down, made of congealed sand and juice squeezed from camels.
But I should buy now.
If you tell me that this particular dynasty lived in a fortified convent, you would have got your 19...
Say anything for a laugh, won't it?
Well, we've been badly treated. I'm having it put in my contract from now on, no Webster.
And I'm going to tell you that the next round is limericks, and your thing is there once was a person called Webster. No, I'll let you off that. This is incidentally where I give each team the opening line of a limerick, and they must complete it. And we'll start with Joe and Graeme. And your opening line is, there was a stout person from Brum.
I see your game.
There was a stout person from Brum.
Who lost £20 off her tum.
When people said, "Great,"
She replied, "Just you wait."
till you see what I've lost from my thumb.
We'll give you 3 marks for that. Tim and John, your first line coming up. A boozer who lived in Dundee.
Oh, a boozer who lived in Dundee.
Decided to go on a spree.
He visited pubs.
Where he drank out of tubs.
Until it was time for his tea.
Score at the moment is 8 to Joe and Graeme and 7 to Tim and John. And this next round is the singing relay, where I give each team a song to sing, taking alternate words. And anyone who spoils the song by singing out of turn or out of tune will be taken from this place, hung, drawn and quartered, boiled in oil, and compelled to listen to a complete replay of this series. Joe and Graeme, your song, please, is Second-Hand Rose.
I'm
Wearing
second-hand hats,
second-hand clothes.
that's
Why
they
call
me.
second-hand clothes?
Even
Up
piano
in the parlor.
for the
Bought
for
10
cents.
from
The
parlor.
second-hand toils
I'm
wearing.
second-hand coils.
I
Never
get
a
single
thing
that's
new.
even
Jacob
the
Plummer,
He's
the
man
I
adore.
had
The
to tell
me
me he's
been
married.
before.
Everyone
No,
that
I'm
just
second-hand
hand
second.
Avenue.
They look so smug about it.
Anyone can do it if they want to.
A clear round to Joe and Graeme. Tim and John, your song is The Ballad of Davy Crockett.
Born on a mountain top in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free, raised in the woods, so he knew every...
That's very difficult. So's he knew every tree. That's
As this is the last programme and you're lagging behind by 1 point, we'll allow you to try and regain a mark by singing it again much slower.
Born on a mountain top in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free, raised in the woods, so he knew every tree, killed him papa when he was only 3. Dave Crockett, king of the far frontier.
Dave Lee at the piano there, taking the law into his own hands. So the score now is 8, 9, 10, 11 against 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It really doesn't matter who's got which. The next round is a round called Spot the Noise. This time I shall ask each player to identify for 1 mark a noise. Now the way we're going to judge this is a sort of composite noise which has been put together by the effects department, and the players are asked to give a plausible explanation for this particular noise, and they'll be judged on the strength of the applause that they get from the audience here. So Graeme, first of all, here's your noise.
I like a nice nice plate glass window break.
Ah, yes. What was that? That was somebody doing a Le Mans start. Oh, yes. It was Helmut Mecklenburg-Strelitz doing a Le Mans start. It's true. A Le Mans start into his revolutionary new gas turbine car, the Formula One Mecklenburg-Strelitz Special. Revolutionary new car made entirely of glass. That was the late Helmut Mecklenburg.
Right. Joe Kendall, here's your noise.
Easy.
Easy. It's rural celebrations on Phil Archer's wedding night, which consists of mincing crows in a squeaking machine and throwing Walter Gabriel headfirst into a vat of milk.
Right, Tim Brooke-Taylor, your noise now.
New musical version of Gone with the Wind. I expect you might.
John
It might not
thinks your
be
noise
allowed.
coming up.
Well, I heard the audience laugh at the end. I didn't hear the effect. What was the...
I think it was. It could be Webster compiling his dictionary.
I think it's somebody, the sort of... type of thing is obviously somebody reading Webster.
Reading Webster.
Webster, the well-known lexicographer and practical joker. And then, as far as I can see, several months passed. Then there was a sound effect of Mr. Webster's index fingers being fed into a mincing machine. And then our studio audience laughed. I didn't hear the last bit, but I think there was sort of cries of almost unbearable cries of pain and agony, which I couldn't really hear because the audience were giggling. But that's, I would say, probably it was about 12 minutes late.
Well, we have an aggregate there of 18 to Graeme and Joe. That's 1 mark per second of applause. And an aggregate of 17 to Tim and John, bringing the score 2. Now we go on to Calypso time. If you've noticed a certain amount of sort of padding up to now in the programme, it's been to delay the moment when we come to Calypso time. Each team will be given by me a subject on which they must improvise a 4-line calypso, singing alternate lines. Tim and John, your subject, please. Crufts.
I'll do the beginning. warming up. Oh, I went to Crufts the other night.
The dog's owners, they were an incredible sight.
They started to behave so much like their pets.
They had to plant trees in the toilet.
I've got 3 marks for that. John Graeme, your subject is Entente Cordiale.
Her Majesty the Queen the other day.
She went to Paris a long way away.
The only question I am asking.
Asking?
You!
Ah, that's easier. The only question I'm asking you is what did Monsieur Pompidou?
You score 4 points on that, bringing Joe and Graham's total to 22 and Tim and John's to 20. And we go on to the next round, which is tag wrestling. This is where I give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote. I shall start with one team who must start a story, or rather they must tell the story ending in their tag. But when I press the buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards their finishing tagline. So the winning team is the one which reaches their tagline first. That's what it says here. So Tim and John, I'll give you your tagline first, towards which you must work. Here it is. So it's true, exclaimed Aunt Alice, pulling on her boxing shorts with a leer. The iced bun was yours all along, Lady Cynthia. Joe and Graeme, your tagline is this. Come in number 3, screamed the Cardinal. And everyone in the baker's shop went quiet. Or Paddy may never tap dance again. And we're going to start this story off with Tim and John.
John. Well, one day, walking along Hackney High Street was Lady Cynthia Thing, who was feeling very hungry. She popped into the fish and chip shop for a little rock salmon and chips, and then she popped into the bakery for some iced buns and chips.
Did you know that this was the bakery attached to the Vatican, close to the Vatican boating pool?
In Wapping High Street?
Cardinal what?
In Wapping High Street?
That's the Wapping Vatican. That was not the one in Rome, you fool.
They're everywhere.
Anyway, Cardinal Wilson was standing by the boating pool watching the boats going past when Paddy, who had come to say a prayer to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, stopped by and passed the time of day saying,
I'm about to push you in. And he did. Paddy dived in to help him, and they both drowned. Meanwhile, Lady Cynthia, who we were talking about earlier, moved into the bakery and said, what I'd like is that ice bun over there. Aunt Alice, at this moment, who was doing a little shadow boxing.
By a remarkable act of faith, the Cardinal and Paddy rose from the water, and as he had to change his clothes, Paddy put his tap shoes on to keep his feet dry.
Tap shoes on to keep your feet dry?
Turn them on.
Oh, I see. You turn them on. So, anyway, this nun said to the... No, that's another story. What about so Aunt Alice, whose recent acts had faded from the memory, and who was in fact shadow boxing and having a hell of a job keeping the shadows in the boxes, because once you closed them, they came out. She thought this is very strenuous work.
Get out, said the Cardinal. Now, Paddy was once again finding it very difficult to tap dance because of his recent immersion in the boating leg. And an emergency operation was prescribed by the Cardinal. Ah, they said, the only person who can perform this operation is out there, in boat number 3 in the middle of the boating leg. You probably see him from where you are.
Ah, that's Aunt Alice's sister. You remember Aunt Alice? Do you know her? She's the famous boxing champion. Meanwhile, the shadow boxing champion. Yes. Meanwhile, Alice was boxing her champions. No, she wasn't. Was putting her boxes into shorts. I'm going to go blim, blim, blim. Blim, blim, blim. There, I told you so.
Well, as this was quite irrelevant, what the Cardinal was about to say, the Cardinal, notwithstanding Aunt Alice, said, come in number 3.
So it's true, exclaimed Aunt Alice, Aunt Alice, pulling on her boxing shorts for the layer. The ice-bomb was yours all along, Lady Cynthia, the end. We win! We win! We win! We won!
Tim and John win that one because Joe and Graeme won last time. 25 to Joe and Graeme, 23 to Tim and John. We come to the point where I ask the teams to announce the late arrivals at the Geographical Society Ball. 1 mark per name. Let's hear first of all from Graeme Garden.
Mr. and Mrs. Stern Hemisphere and their son Western Hemisphere and his brother Eastern Hemisphere.
Holy.
Also arriving at the Geographer's Ball are, and all together please, Mr. and Mrs. Pelagos and their son Archie Pelagos. Ah, you know him.
Joe?
Arriving at the ball, Mr. and Mrs. Transatlantic Crossing and their dog, Rough Transatlantic Crossing.
The Australian ambassador and his wife and their pet koala, Lumper. Mr. and Mrs. Ferris Tree and their daughter, Coniferous Tree. Mr. and Mrs. Tory and their unmarried daughter, Virgin Terry Tory.
At that point...
And Mr. and Mrs. Reef and their daughter, Coral.
Mr. and
City of
Mrs.
Atlantic.
High Street and their step-cousin, Ken. Mrs. West Passage and their daughter, North West Passage. Mr. and Mrs. Mountains and their son, Andy.
At this point...
Mr. and Mrs. Zimbalist Jr. and their son, Iceberg. Worth a try.
At this point, it could be going on afterwards, but at this point, it's time to announce the final score that you've been waiting 13 weeks to hear. And it is William and Mary, 1,184, Robert and Elizabeth, 308, making Sid and Enid the overall winners. It only remains to say goodbye on behalf of Joe Kendall and Graeme Garden, Tim Brooke-Taylor and John Cleese, and our musical accompanist and director, Dave Lee.
That was Humphrey Lyttelton making closing remarks on behalf of Tim Brooke-Taylor, John Cleese, Graeme Garden and Joe Kendall, Dave Lee at the piano, and producer John Cassels.